Welcome back to the deep dive. So our last few sessions were, very focused on the concrete stuff, the equipment, the people on the ice, things you can see and touch.
Right, but tangibles.
Exactly. Today we're kind of moving into the abstract. We're stepping away from the checklist and more into the architecture of the game itself.
I like that, the architecture.
It's all about mastering the game's rhythm. This is where you, as a new official, you stop just watching the play and you actually start controlling the flow.
That is the perfect way to put it.
Yeah.
Our mission today is all about game control, integrity, movement, you name it.
Okay.
We're diving into the rules that dictate how play starts, stops, and restarts.
Yeah.
The periods, the timeouts, stoppages, and this is a big one, face-off locations.
Absolutely.
When the game gets fast, and it will, knowing these flow rules is what gives you that immediate authority. You control the clock, you control where that puck drops.
Okay, let's unpack this. I mean, if you're talking about the cornerstones of good officiating, this has to be it. Accurate timekeeping and getting the face-off spot right.
Oh, for sure.
It just screams competence to the coaches and players.
So let's start with the basic framework, the clock.
The basic structure is pretty consistent across the board. Games are played in 3 periods. Now, that can be modified by league or tournament rules, of course.
And the length of those periods.
That has to be nailed down before the puck ever drops. And while we have an off-ice timekeeper, let's be clear. The on-ice officials are ultimately responsible for making sure that clock is operated correctly.
And what about starting ends? Teams switch after each period, but there's a little pregame detail that I think a lot of people miss.
There is. So, at the very start, teams will defend the goal closest to their own bench. Simple enough.
What?
But if the benches are on opposite sides of the ice, the home team actually gets to choose which end they defend. It's a small but real home ice advantage.
That's a great little detail you have to sort out before the anthem even starts.
It is. Now let's talk about our support system, the game timekeeper. They are your best friend when it comes to managing the periods. They're doing more than just hitting a button, right? They're really managing the intermissions for us.
100%. We absolutely rely on them. So, for instance, coming out of the break, the timekeeper gives a preliminary warning 3 minutes before play resumes.
And that's our cue.
That's your cue to clear the ice, get your crew together. They also announce when there's 1 minute left in the period, which is, critical for team strategy.
Let's talk about the situation that always causes the most drama. The last second goal. Puck goes in, horn sounds almost at the same time. What's the rule?
Yeah, this one tests everyone. The key is the relationship between the puck crossing the line and the horn sounding. If that puck is completely over the line just before the buzzer, even if the clock says 0.0 and the timekeeper was a little slow.
The goal is good.
The goal is good, but here's the crucial part. What happens next?
Right.
Because the buzzer has sounded, the period is definitively over. That means the center ice face-off that would normally follow a goal is not necessary. You don't do it.
So you're signaling the goal, you pause to make sure a scrum doesn't break out, and then you just send everyone to the locker room.
That's exactly it. The casebook is very clear on this. That face-off serves no purpose, and it's just a prime spot for unnecessary trouble after a big goal. Game control is about removing those opportunities for conflict.
That makes perfect sense. But what about the opposite problem? You drop the puck, play starts, and you realize the clock isn't running. The instinct is to just blow it down immediately.
And that's the wrong instinct. You can't just stop play for that. You'd be killing the flow of the game. This is where the mental clock comes in.
The mental clock.
As the on-ice official, you have to immediately start counting down in your head. Keep track of that time difference. If your internal clock hits 0, you must blow the whistle and end the period.
Wow. That sounds incredibly stressful. You're basically challenging the scoreboard based on your own internal count.
It is, but it comes down to being decisive. If you count down to 0, play stops. Period. And here's the kicker. If a goal is scored after you've mentally decided the period is over, that goal has to be disallowed.
No way.
Absolutely. You have to be ready to skate over and tell the scorekeeper the clock was dead for 4 seconds. The period ended right there. That moment right there.
Yeah.
That builds massive credibility.
That's a perfect example of human judgment overriding the technology. Okay, let's shift from the clock to a team wanting to manage the clock themselves. Timeouts.
A very precious commodity.
Yeah.
Each team gets 1 60-second timeout per game, and that includes overtime.
Unless
Unless you're in a curfew game where the clock runs continuously. In that case, Timeouts are almost always prohibited.
And when can a coach ask for it? I see them yelling for one constantly, but there's a specific window, isn't there?
A very tight window. It has to be during a stoppage of play, obviously, but, and this is key, it has to be requested before the line change procedure is over. Once the lines are set, that window has closed.
Okay, and let's get into a tricky situation. Team A calls their timeout. Team B's coach sees what they're drawing up and decides he wants one too, right after.
The back-to-back. This is a great rules nuance question. If Team A calls a timeout, Team B has to request theirs before Team A's 60 seconds are up.
So they can't wait for it to end and then decide?
Nope. If they wait, they've missed their chance for that stoppage. You, as the official, have to be listening for that request during that 60-second window.
And we know teams often use this time to warm up their goalie. How do we manage that?
You manage it strictly. A maximum of 4 pucks on the ice for the goalie. That's it. Any more than that, and you're looking at a delay of game. Meanwhile, the non-penalized players can head to the bench.
That 4-puck limit is a fantastic concrete rule to have in your back pocket.
It is. It helps you control the chaos.
All right, so we've managed the clock. Now let's move to owning the whistle, knowing exactly when to stop play.
Play stops, for all the obvious reasons.
Yep.
Puck out of play, a goal, a penalty. But let's focus on the big one. Injuries. Safety is your #1 non-rule-based reason to stop play. If an injury looks serious, you stop play immediately. Full stop.
Okay, that's the easy call. But what about the more common, less serious stuff? A guy pulls a muscle or takes a light slash.
That's the judgment call, isn't it? If you deem it non-serious, you let play continue, but only until the injured player's team gains possession of the puck.
And it has to be in a non-scoring situation.
A non-scoring situation, exactly. So if the other team is on a 2-on-1 rush, you're not blowing that down. You wait till the threat is over and the injured player's team has clear control. Safety first, but you try not to take away a clear scoring chance.
For a new official, judging non-scoring situation on the fly sounds terrifying.
It's tough. You have to process quickly. Is the player in the middle of the ice? Stop it. Are they by the boards while the puck's at the other end? Let it go. You lean towards letting play continue unless safety is a direct, immediate concern.
Now for the best kind of stoppage, a goal. Let's just confirm the standard.
The standard is that the entire puck must completely cross the inner edge of the goal line. We're talking the whole thing.
And the goal line itself, that red paint, is 2 inches wide.
And that entire width is part of the line. So if any piece of that puck is still on the red paint, it is not a goal. It has to be all the way over.
And the signal from the official needs to be sharp.
Absolutely. Point with your non-whistle hand directly at the net and blow the whistle at the same time. Then, and this is important, you pause. You scan for any trouble.
Before you skate over to the benches.
Before you skate backward to the scorer's bench. Then you report it clearly. Goal number 17 green from 2 and 19. Clear, concise communication. Then it's back to center ice.
And if it's no goal, if we have to wave it off.
The washout, just as important. You blow the whistle and immediately give the washout signal. Both arms swung across your body at shoulder level, palms down.
No vague hand waving.
Never. A sharp, decisive washout signal. Then you go explain to the scorekeeper why it was disallowed. You have to sell that call, and the signal is the first part of that.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me. Face-off locations. We stopped the play. Now we have to restart it fairly. This is all about territorial advantage.
And this is where so many new officials get tripped up. But if you nail this, you look like a veteran instantly.
Let's start with the easy one. Center ice.
Yep. Startup period after a goal. It's also used after a premature sub of the goalie, unless, the play was stopped way down in their own end.
Let's break down the harder calls. The puck is stopped in the attacking zone. How do we decide if it stays there?
It all comes down to who caused the stoppage. This is Rule 612. If the stoppage is caused by the attacking team.
Like an offside, or they high-stick the puck?
Exactly. An attacking team infraction. That face-off moves out of the zone. It goes to the nearest neutral zone face-off spot. You're essentially taking away the territorial advantage they gained illegally.
So if a forward goes offside, the puck doesn't come all the way back down the ice. It just goes to that dot right outside the blue line.
That's it, a territorial penalty. Now, if the stoppage in the end zone is not because of an attacking infraction, say the goalie freezes the puck.
Or a defender just falls on it.
Right. Then the face-off stays in the zone, at the nearest end zone face-off spot.
And how far does that nearest spot rule extend? What if the puck is frozen right behind the net, halfway between the two dots?
Doesn't matter. It covers the whole area. Any stoppage between those dots and the end boards goes to whichever the two face-off spots is closer.
Okay, that's clear. But what about the player gatherings rule? This is meant to stop the scrums after the whistle, right?
It's one of your best tools for controlling that nonsense. So play stops in the end zone, a little scrum starts up. The face-off moves out to the neutral zone if an attacking player from outside the zone comes flying in.
So a player who is out by the blue line can't just skate in deep to join the argument after the whistle.
If he does, you move the face-off out. You are penalizing that secondary entry, the player who is coming in just to escalate things. The face-off moving out is the signal. We're not doing this here.
But players who are already deep in the zone when the play stopped are okay?
They're fine. You aren't penalizing the guys who are already part of the play. It's only for the players who enter the fray after the whistle. It really demands you know where everyone was when you blew the play dead.
That requires you to really slow things down in your mind. Finally, just a quick touch on the mechanics. Who's dropping the puck?
The linesperson is doing almost all of them. The referee really only handles the opening face-offs for periods and the ones after a goal.
And we have to enforce readiness.
Oh, you have to. If a player's deliberately delaying, you give them about 5 seconds, and if they're still not ready, the rule says you can drop the puck with just the one player there. You have to be willing to do that to keep the game moving.
And the positioning. Skates and sticks behind the hash marks.
It's non-negotiable. If you let one guy cheat, they'll all start cheating, and you lose all integrity in the face-off. You have to be consistent on that every single time. So if we bring this all together, what we've really been talking about is control. Control of the clock, control of the restart. When you get those things right, it tells every player and coach on that ice that you are in command.
So what does this all mean? It means you're not just a referee, you're the choreographer of the game's rhythm. You set the tempo, and when you master these rules, you get less arguing from the benches and more focus on hockey.
And that brings me to a final thought, going back to that pressure cooker moment, the last second of a period. We said that after a last-second goal, the center ice face-off is unnecessary because the horn ends the period.
Right.
Now, the referee has the final say in any time dispute.
Yeah.
So picture it. You're at center ice, teams are furious, maybe about the goal, maybe about the clock. How do you balance the rule, which says the period is over, with the immediate risk of a fight if you just send everyone off?
That's the moment, isn't it? Standing there with everyone staring at you, the horn still echoing. You have to decide if the risk of a brawl is higher, if you line them up for a meaningless face-off, or if you just decisively say, period's over, let's go.
It's a huge test of your confidence. You have to know the rule, trust your judgment, and manage all that emotion with a single, firm decision.
Something to think about the next time you see that clock winding down. That's all for this deep dive into game flow. We'll see you next time.